you ever wondered what it would be like if David Lynch and Cronenberg made a short first-person PlayStation 1 styled horror mystery video game on PC? Well, wonder no longer. Get your candy corns and wear your finest Halloween costume, cause this is Paratopic. Paratopic is, like I described, a first-person horror PS1 style game that is meant to be played in a single setting. It is a short game that lasts at most about 25 to 30 minutes tops. There are no saves. The only time the game saves is when you beat the game, and I know that has probably some raised some eyebrows, and you may be wondering if it is even worth playing. Short answer is yes. And don't worry, there won't be spoilers. Now, I won't lie, the first time I went through this game on my first playthrough, the only word that left my mouth when I finished it was, what? Paratopic isn't really a game in the traditional sense. Some people call it a walking simulator, and I kind of get where they're coming from. There really isn't much in the way of actual gameplay other than walking around and interacting with the world and all that kind of stuff. But unlike most of these walking style simulator games like Dear Esther, there is a little bit more to it than meets the eye. But it's not like you don't do anything. I feel it's apt to call this an interactive horror experience rather than a horror game. And if these kind of games aren't your cup of tea, then I would say to avoid this game. But if this interests you, then stick around for the rest of this review. It's that kind of game that leaves you with the question that makes you ask, what in the hell did I just play? And if it weren't for the short length as well as the multiple choice answers in the game, as well as little things here and there that you could end up missing on a first playthrough, I would say it's not even worth it. But in this case, I feel that the developers really did nail it. This is a game of layers. It gives you enough reasons to play it several times over, as it really rewards players who are about peeling off the multiple layers of a story to piece together what exactly happened. Hell, I played it 3 times over, and I feel while I have an idea of what's happening in the story, I still am left with questions, and personally, I feel that's what makes a good mystery anyway. For example, there are moments in the game where you have to interact with other characters and talk to them using a RPG-esque multiple choice system to interact with others, which, in the wrong hands and a bad writer, could have not only felt inconsequential, which in a sense it kind of is, but also boring. However, these moments are anything but. Sometimes you'll get scenarios where a guy is talking to you about delivering something over the border, and he's really shady. And next, you are talking to a gas attendant about the world's largest ball of twine, which all happens to be engaging and keeps you hooked, because even if one of these instances makes you go, what? They at least manage to keep you wanting to see what will happen next. Also, things that get said in these conversations may feel like weird bits of nonsense exposition at first, only to pick up little subtle tidbits on repeat playthroughs. It also helps that there are these moments of quiet time where you're driving and you can click on the radio and listen to a talk show or some music, and these moments make you reflect on what's actually going on while driving down the road, while simultaneously catching you off guard. And while it seems random, it actually is very deliberate. Although sometimes I felt that they were a little long at times, so this game requires some patience. presentation also is very engrossing. While it looks like a garbled mess of low polygons and pixels, it definitely manages to capture the tone it's trying to accomplish. It has a very oppressive, grimy, sickly look like you get when you walk into a smoker's house and the walls all look yellow. It kind of feels like playing the video game version of a nightmare sometimes. It also has a very obvious David Lynch and Cronenberg-esque feel. For example, the plot point of the VHS tapes makes me think about Videodrome, and if you haven't seen that, you should. If you have seen it and you played this game already, you know exactly what I am talking about. It also helps that the soundtrack for the game is really well done. It's really good. 80s inspired synths, horror style music, which gives me some John Carpenter vibes, which is nothing but a good thing. Paratopic is available on itch.io as well as Steam for $5.49 minus tax. You can also get this game along with the soundtrack if you're into that sort of thing. The soundtrack, I believe, is $3 separate. If you are looking for a good horror experience that will leave you asking questions and make you wanting more and can be played within a single setting, Paratopic is a good pick for this Halloween. Paratopic! Long live the new flesh.